All right, so the S&P fell 4% today, according to my man Dustin Tibbetts over at Jazz Wealth. So yesterday, Dustin was saying we had $1 trillion added to market value yesterday, and just like that, it was wiped out. All right, so then I got an email from my man Vaughn. He said, man, it's like being on a roller coaster trying to figure out what's going on in this market. I said, man, you can the market can be irrational longer than you can be solvent. Vaughn, just enjoy the ride, because the market is so silly. The idea that words out of a guy's mouth equated to $1 trillion increase and $1 trillion gone, it's just freaking stupid. There's no rationale for this. It's not based on earnings. It's not based on fundamentals. It's just based on some dude's mouth. I actually attribute it more to, not that's just me, but the productivity. The U.S. labor productivity fell remarkably. Productivity is way, way down, my friends. And I tell you, I'm surprised I've only just skimmed the markets of the various investing sites I look at, Zero Hedge and a couple others. But productivity being down significantly, the most in decades, is since 1947. Or 1974 or 47. Either. I mean, the most in a long time. That is something that's concerning. That, I tell you, we are in a recession. There's just no two ways around that. Again, you have to have, I read somebody say we're now at 5 straight months of contracting GDP, which you can't make a recession because you need 2 consecutive quarters. And Q4 of 2021 was expanding, so that's not recessionary. It can't be. But Q1 was contracting, and Q2 is going to be for sure. So we're in it now, and we're dealing with the consequences of that. The contracting of the labor productivity is actually quite concerning. That means profits are being lost, and if you don't have earnings, you don't have growth on the on stocks. Just that, earnings growth plus dividend yields, my friends, it's literally that simple. That is what causes stocks to falter. Jerome Powell, talking out both sides of his mouth, because he's like, I didn't want the markets to take off yesterday. I don't want a bullish market in stocks. And then Dustin was saying that Jerome Powell is also saying, look, we can't control the supply side. We can only control the demand side. And again, I didn't see much surprise by that. That was actually a wonderful thing for him to say. It's exactly true. Basically saying the Fed has no control, but for some reason that didn't get a lot of attention in my readings either, which is weird because that's exactly it. The Fed has no control over this stuff, man. They just don't. So the idea that there's something happened that made the market fall off a cliff, no. Because something happened that made the market jump up. Words don't mean anything. Productivity means something. Earnings mean everything. Anyway, and look, it just happens. I've been saying this for a couple of years now, that we're going to have a contraction. And we're going to have a bear. Is that just that simple? Are we even at the bear yet? I don't think so. I think we're still, 18% down? We're not at bear territory yet. Then you read some things about, the housing, mortgage rates are at 6%. I said, I don't know. Is that true? Are mortgage rates at 6%? I was like, man, yeah, that sucks, man. People are going to have a hard time financing their dream homes. I get it, 100%. Borrowing money, though, is to pay for your dream home. There is some sketchiness about that. I'm not going to lie to you. If you don't have the cash flow to meet the mortgage payment, that's it's one thing if you got the assets and the cash flow to meet the payments. I'm just telling you. I mean, sometimes I was talking to a couple guys that they're fine with that. You know what I'm saying? They're fine with taking the debt and paying off their and keeping their assets liquid. And situation dictates. Generally, I don't like it. In fact, I was just working with a guy right now, USPS guy, good guy. Up in the anyway, he's like, look, what should I do? Roth conversions or pay down the mortgage? And he doesn't spend that much. And I said, man, pay down that sucker. And we looked at the amortization schedule that my Right Capital shows, and he's going to pay $24,000 a year, an extra $2,000 a month, on his mortgage payment, which is only $1,100 as it is. And it was very interesting because that was going to pay $24,000 against principal, but only $2,000 of interest. Next year it'd be $24,000 of principal and $1,200 of interest, and the following year it'd be $18,000 of principal, but then $200 in interest, and then he's done. But the issue is that is his biggest expense because he travels light. He just doesn't live that much. He doesn't spend that much. He doesn't need to. He likes where he lives. He likes his life. He's a good guy. And so what happens now? You're like, dude, now that expense is gone, you just don't spend that much. And he's got a small pension from USPS, and that's basically going to cover his day-to-day living expenses. His pension isn't huge. Rabbit, just saw a cute little bunny rabbit go by. Anyway, the point being is all this stuff is just gibberish. Who cares? Who cares? Especially if you got no debt, who cares? If you got debt like I do, and you're like, ooh, this is scary, because my portfolio is now way down, right? And I still got taxes to pay on it because the bulk of it's still in a traditional IRA. It's one thing if it's a Roth where I don't have to pay tax on it because I already don't pay the tax. Sadly, like an idiot, I did my Roth conversions last year, and now we're way down, so now it's all my own money coming back to me. I don't have to pay income tax on it, but it'll still be a penalty because I'm before 59.5. If I were to take that money out, but that'd be stupid to do that now. Don't. But anyway, point being is if you got no debt, as I said again, you can share the load, Frodo. Share the load. Anyway, don't listen to gibberish. Get your bills paid. Just look out the window. All right, we'll see you.